That's it. I've had it. It's got to go. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen, and today I just want to talk about why I am giving up. I am ditching sourdough starters and sourdough bread. This was actually a difficult decision for me to make because I have invested like 5 months, trying to establish that starter. And sourdough bread, it tastes amazing, and it is, it's very good for your gut. It's a healthy bread. But, this year, I have said in other videos that I am focusing on simple. That is my word for 2024. And I am just trying to find simple ways to living more simply. And to be honest, sourdough it was not very simple for me. There really isn't just one reason why I decided to just ditch the sourdough life. There are actually several reasons that ultimately made the decision as to why I'm just giving it up. Main reason is if you've been following along in my sourdough journey and seen past videos, it has been a little frustrating. It has not been the easiest. Establishing a sourdough starter, that takes a lot of patience, and it just took a lot of time. Here are a few clips of just this past year, my frustrations with sourdough. Oh, it smells like nail polish remover. This is the rise after about 8 hours. Nobody told me that your sourdough starter gets a personality all on its own. Mine has one. It's stubborn. That's what it is. It's stubborn and it's hungry. Oh my gosh, it finally did it. Oh, this took so flippin' long, but look, it doubled in size. Yes! Sourdough bread, here I come. It's dense. It is hard as a rock. Oh my gosh. Here it is, my very first sourdough loaf. I just need to say this about sourdough. I did not realize how difficult it was going to be. Like, from the starter to making the bread. It took me over a month just to get my starter to double in size. Maybe it's easier for people, who already have a starter established, and that's why it looks so easy. Or all these videos you see of people, oh, it's so easy, 3 easy steps, or, whatever. I call malarkey, or I'm a fool. It could be both. But anyways, I do know one thing, that I am going to be more stubborn than the sourdough. That's right. I am going to keep this journey up until I get that beautiful sourdough bread that I want to have. And here's some other reasons. First, my sourdough starter was really hungry. I was having to feed that thing like 2 to 3 times a day. And so that's extra flour, that's extra cost. But the thing is it wasn't always doubling in size so that way I can use it. So I'm here feeding it, so that's flour, that's money going into the starter, and then it's not doubling, so then I'm not able to make bread out of it. Which means if it's not doubling, it wasn't reliable. I was like, okay, we're going to have bread tonight for dinner, and I would feed it, and then it wouldn't happen. And then I wouldn't have bread for dinner, because it just wasn't happening. Because of just the constant frustration, trying to feed it and it not working, or sometimes it did work and then I would make bread. Eventually I was getting a little bit tired of having to feed it so often and every day. So I would try to stick it in the fridge to get a break. But the thing is once I would pull it out of the fridge, it would take several days for me constantly feeding it before it would kind of like be active again. And again, that's just more money going into it, and it just wasn't serving me. But also, making sourdough bread, it's actually a long process. You have to start it like the night before, at least a half hour, kind of mixing everything, letting it set, and then stretch and fold, and then you have to, let it proof all overnight, and then you wake up in the morning and you do some more stretch and folds, then you got to let it rest some more for a couple more hours before you can finally bake it and let it cool. It's just a long process. And the whole fact of the matter is, this whole idea of sourdough, it's just not simple enough for my life right now. And those are the reasons why I decided that I'm just not going to do it anymore. Just because I am ditching, doing the sourdough starter and making sourdough bread, it doesn't mean that I am giving up on my journey to still making my own bread at home. I'm just having to do it in a more practical way for me. With how busy I am, I just do not have the time it takes to put into making sourdough bread. And using yeast recipes, and making your own bread in a bread machine, it's still healthier than, other store-bought options. So, it's still healthier than that. So I can't really complain about that. But I don't want you to feel, if you're trying to be healthier and, and I know that there's a lot of good benefits with sourdough, but I don't want you to feel ashamed, if, it just doesn't work out for you, or if this is easier. It's not you, taking the easy way out. Don't think of it whenever it comes to like making bread as things like that. You are still trying to make a healthier bread for your family, but you're just doing what's going to make it easier for you and your family so that it is a little bit more sustainable and it's not going to stress you out.
Hello, my precious.
Well, that's a wrap on today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content, and I hope that my message coming across. I'm not trying to say that one way is better than another. I've just made this decision because it's just what's going to be better for me and for my family at this point in time. Now, does that mean I'm never going to try making my own sourdough starter again? Probably not. I did really enjoy doing sourdough. It really was a hard decision for me. But I think that it needs to come at a time where things are a little bit slower now, in my life right now, before I try that again. And so in that meantime, using my bread machine, using yeast, and me knowing that I want bread for dinner that night, that I can whip all that together and I am definitely going to get bread. That's just a huge, just like a relief, not having to worry about that. And so that is ultimately the reason why I am ditching, doing the sourdough bread at this time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a blessed day. As soon as I hit record, with everything going on, I just wasn't having the time. Or we're just gonna stop. I am just moving to What did one loaf of bread say to another loaf of bread after a long, hard day? Don't worry, tomorrow will be better. This bread's got character. Look at him. He's not even, but he's gonna taste delicious.